Have you started holiday shopping yet? Or are you a Black Friday or Cyber Monday shopper? Or are you one of those who waits until the last minute? Either way, we're headed full steam ahead into the holiday season, and whichever camp you're in, it's knocking at your door. And because I know holiday shopping can be a bit stressful, because it's just one more thing on top of all the other things you put your heart and soul into, I want to help make it a little bit easier. Join me as I reveal my 2023 Health, Harmony, and Happiness Gift Giving Guide. Welcome to Health, Harmony, and Happiness with Kathy. I'm your host, Kathy Stricker. I'm a state patrol wife, mama to 3 lively kiddos, a yoga teacher, certified NLP coach, and an energetic rhythms expert. As an energetic rhythms coach, I help action-taking women use their body's rhythms and the moon's cycle to optimize productivity and avoid burnout without letting their desire to remain in control alter their focus. And this podcast is all about doing just that and perhaps a bit more so that you can create your own path to health, harmony, and happiness. So come along with me, and may this episode serve as a nudge to discover tools that could help you on your path towards more intentional living. Enjoy the show. Hey friends, welcome to episode 90. This is a fun one today. It's my annual Health, Harmony, and Happiness Gift Giving Guide episode. Yay! I kind of feel like Oprah when I do this episode, except that I'm not actually giving you the things. Sorry. I just get to tell you all about them and remember how much health, harmony, and happiness they actually do bring to my life. So as I was writing this episode and as I was pulling all of the ideas that I have, which I'm going to tell you this is a little bit cumbersome this year, I was able to be reminded of those things and to instill that gratitude for the fact that I have these things in my life, these things or ideas or opportunities, I guess. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm bringing this to you with all of my heart. And I've put a lot of work into considering what are the things that over the past year or maybe even longer that have really helped cultivate health, harmony, and happiness in my life that you could potentially give to either someone else or maybe even to yourself as a holiday gift this year. Let's get started because, as I said, I have a lot to share with you. Remember that all of these items will be linked for you in the show notes, and that can be found at cairnyogawellness.com/podcast90. I will also put that in the information on this episode, so you hopefully will be able to link right to it, although I know that some podcast players don't allow those links, so you might just have to copy and paste it into your browser. And also, I want to remind you that some, not all, but some of these links are indeed affiliate links, so if you choose to make a purchase, I might get a little bit of money love back from the seller or the company who the product is through. But please know that I only recommend things that I believe in, that I believe absolutely cultivate or have cultivated health, harmony, and happiness in my life. So this is not all about the money here, but I do want you to know that in some instances, I may be getting a very little amount back from the seller. But not all instances. Because this is a pretty long episode, you might just want to skip to the podcast show notes page and actually just skim through it to be able to look at the things. And there's a description on that page as well of each item. But it is a little bit longer episode. So a way to quickly scan would be to just jump to the show notes page and scan through, click on the things that you think might interest you. Okay, now that that's out of the way, on with the show. I've broken everything down just like I did last year. Oh, and that's the other thing. I will link to last year's episode as well, because there might be some gifts that are on that list that you want to make a purchase of this year. Those are all definitely still good options. But I will link to that because it might give you some ideas as well. Now we're heading into this busy shopping season and into the Black Friday deals and everything. Honestly, some of the things that are on this list, you might be able to get a good deal on. if you listen to this right away and if you take advantage of some of those pre-holiday sales. So do your research. And again, I would love it if you use the link that I have shared with you to purchase if it's one that I'm actually getting affiliate commissions from. But if not, and you find a greater deal somewhere else, do it, friend. I'm all about saving money and finding the best deal. So yeah, do what you will. All right. So I have grouped these into 3 categories, obviously, into health, harmony, and happiness. The first things that I'm going to share with you today are all involving health and perhaps how to promote health just a little bit more. The first thing I have for you guys today is actually one of my own classes because it's coming up, and this could be a great way for you to reconnect with yourself during the busy holiday season, or it could be a great way for you to get your friends together, get your girlfriends together, and come together and have your little holiday get together or celebration, doing something that's also benefiting your health. And this is my winter solstice candlelight yoga. And I do this every year on the winter solstice, which happens to be December 21st. The winter solstice is the seasonal reminder of the end of a cycle. It marks the end of one seasonal year and the start of another. So it's no coincidence that this day lies close to Christmas and the end of the calendar year. As you wrap up preparations for the holiday, prepare both your body and your soul as well. Nurture yourself with a yoga and breathwork class and workshop led in the spirit of the season by Candleglow. This year, I'm super pumped because I am going to be holding this class at Dandy Farms, which is one of our local greenhouses, local farms, and it's going to be held under the stars in the warmth of a heated greenhouse. So we're in the middle of Iowa. It's probably going to be cold December 21st. I could be wrong, but it's probably going to be too cold to do yoga actually outside, but we're going to take it inside into the greenhouse and do it in there. We're going to have it decorated with candlelight in one way or another through the use of electricity, which will be beautiful. And we'll just see what the weather brings if the night is clear enough to be able to experience the actual stars outside and see them as we're in that greenhouse. So as I said, December 21st is the winter solstice. So this might just be one of those gifts that you give yourself or to a friend who you can bring along with, and to come and prepare yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally for the peak of the holiday season. I would love to have you all there. This is one of those gifts that maybe is just for my local friends here. And if you're going to practice yoga, you're going to need a yoga mat, right? And I might have linked to this last year. If I didn't, I know it's on my general resource page on the website, but there is only one yoga mat that I absolutely recommend. And okay, 2, but it's both the same brand. I only recommend a Manduka mat. I really, really love the Manduka Pro mat. It's a little bit thicker and heavier, and it's the right size so that you aren't messing with or distracted by the fact that your mat's not wide enough or it's not long enough or it moves around. It's truly the best mat out there. I have both the travel version and the Manduka Pro, and I usually just use the travel version for traveling, but for years I used the Manduka Pro to travel, and it came with me on the airplane or wherever in the car that I went. But it's the only mat that I recommend for daily use. They have a lifetime guarantee, and they'll not wear out and start falling apart after a few months like most other cheaper mats that you would just go buy at the store. They're meant to be practiced on daily and to only get better with time. The Manduka Pro is thick enough to provide comfort for your joints, yet stable enough that it won't be a distraction during your practice. Some of those mats that you can buy that are a little bit thicker because you think you want because of the softness on your knees or your elbows or your back or wherever it may be, actually don't provide stability and make it harder to balance and harder to focus and harder to tune inward because you're so distracted by the mat. They do offer an extra long version. You don't have to get that. The standard mat size is 26 inches by 71 inches, and it will suit most everybody. So if you're starting a yoga practice or recommitting to your yoga practice with the new year, or if you know someone who is, this is the mat to go with. And if you're practicing yoga, you might also need some accessories to go with. Now, not everybody requires accessories like yoga blocks, a bolster, a yoga strap, but you might. And I've been doing a more restorative practice with my students and clients in the end of their sessions that does require the use of at least one block. The next thing on my holiday gift giving list is yoga blocks. You might find it useful to use blocks to bring the floor up closer to your hands as a way to support yourself in some postures. Or if you're just starting out and know that your mobility is limited, I definitely recommend having a pair of yoga blocks on hand for those times that you're practicing at home. Now, the type of block that you choose totally depends on personal preference, but I do recommend that any block you get is at least 9 by 6 by 4 inches. At the studio, I have different heights of blocks because as you progress, you might need to go a little bit lower than that 4 inches. So I do have that option available, but if you're at home, standard 9 by 6 by 4 is going to be the best option. And whether you go with cork or foam, that's your personal preference. The cork blocks that I have linked to in this episode, I like because they are environmentally friendly and they actually have fun yogic designs on them. So there's some with an elephant on them. There's some with a mandala on them. There's some with the Om symbol on them. So you get to have your personality infused into them. Or if you know the person that you are purchasing them for, choose a design that might resonate with them. And voila, you've got a beautiful gift. Now, since I started recommending yoga blocks, I will say that the one thing that I'm not so fond of with the cork block is that they eventually start to wear out and the little crumbs of cork start to break off and it makes it kind of messy. I don't seem to have this problem so much with the Manduka cork blocks, but they are a whole lot pricier. So I did not share the link for the Manduka blocks in this episode, but if you want to purchase those, please go ahead and purchase those. They are definitely more expensive. They also don't fall apart as much or as soon, I guess, as other cork blocks. I would say that all cork blocks eventually with time wear out and start to chip away or start to crumble. But I have found that the Manduka blocks do have a little bit longer life before they start to crumble. The other bonus or benefit of cork blocks is that they are firmer and heavier than foam blocks. So they're a little bit more stable. But that's kind of just a personal preference type of thing. If you don't want the mess of the cork block, then foam is the way to go. So I've linked to some foam blocks for you to check out that are reasonably priced and that come in a 2-pack. Also, Manduka does offer foam blocks, and I do have the Manduka blocks in the studio. I have the ergonomic Manduka blocks at the studio, but they're not necessary and they're a little bit pricier. And the reason I have them is because I have a wholesale account with Manduka. So if you are just buying blocks for yourself or for someone else as a gift, you might want to go the Manduka route because they are a little bit nicer. But the blocks that I have linked to that are the foam blocks are also beautiful and come in many colors, and you can choose ones that would fit the person that you're purchasing for. Foam blocks are also a whole lot easier to clean than cork blocks because you can just spray them, wipe them down, and cork blocks are a little bit harder and they don't dry as well. Either one, it's personal preference. I have both at the studio that I use with clients and for myself, and it's just going to be what you feel is best for you. I did mention that I've started to do this restorative posture with students and clients at the studio that involves blocks. The other essential ingredient in that is a bolster, and a rectangle bolster is what is ideal, not one of those round pillow bolsters that you might have seen at your massage therapist or on a bed, but a rectangle bolster. And I have 2 rectangle bolsters that I actually recommend. One is the Manduka, one is the Gaiam brand. And Manduka, again, is going to be a little bit pricier, but there are reasons that I like the Manduka bolster even more. So let me dive into why I'm even recommending a bolster before we get too far. As I said, I've started inviting students in class and my clients to create a really restorative nest almost when they move into final relaxation at the end of their practice, or even just for meditation or self-care any other time throughout the day. Now, you will be able to find a reel of me teaching you how to create this little restorative nest soon on Instagram. It's not up yet, but it will be soon. So watch for that on Karen Yoga Wellness Instagram account. because I'm going to give you a rundown of what you need and how to set yourself up in this little nest. And trust me, it's totally worth it, even if you are just setting yourself up to rest for 5 minutes. You need a yoga block and a rectangle bolster, which is why I'm offering up the idea for a bolster and blocks as a gift idea for someone on your list this year. That's the bare minimum that you need to set yourself up in this super restorative nest or super restorative practice. You could use 2 other yoga blocks and another bolster to support your arms and legs, but it's totally not necessary. The reel, like I said, will be available soon on Instagram, so watch for that. I'm giving you a couple of options for bolsters, like I said, because I prefer the Manduka bolster. This is what I have at home. This is what I have some of at the studio, but I like it because it's a little bit firmer and it's not so lumpy. The Gaiam bolster is thicker, is a little bit lumpier than the Manduka version, and it's a little bit less expensive, but a yoga bolster paired with blocks could make a beautiful and generous gift for someone on your list this year. If you know that they are into self-care, if you know that they are wanting to have more self-care, this could be the little nudge that helps them just create that and gives them the permission to pour into themselves even when life feels chaotic around them. Now, I know that the new year is the time of year that people like to recommit to themselves and their health. So I want to share some things with you that you or someone you love might be able to use to do just that. I'm going to give you a little backstory first. I used to be a health and fitness director at a YMCA, which means I did a lot of purchasing of fitness equipment. I was easily able to see what equipment wore out the quickest and what had a longer life with lots of use. One of the things that was the most versatile and honestly used the most were the exercise bands. From group fitness classes to member use to personal training clients, bands were an easy tool that anybody could benefit from at any age and with any ability, whether you were recovering from an injury or whether you were actually trying to build more strength and endurance. I even created a whole boot camp program when I was at the Y that was just using bands and, for the most part, body weight. So I know how beneficial they can be in cultivating strength and endurance in body, mind, and spirit, because you know what you do with your body and how you use your body also creates the beliefs and the thoughts and the qualities that we have in our lives and that we want in our lives. So the brand that I always come back to, because I know it's a reliable company with quality products, is Spry. They have been in the fitness industry for years and they know what they're doing and they make really good quality stuff. Resistance bands, along with their attachments, can be good resources if you're wanting an in-home option for strength training without a huge expense. I'm actually in a season of my life right now in which I use these resistance bands pretty regularly because they don't take up a lot of room at the studio, and I've just been needing more strength in my life in more ways than one right now. And this particular set of resistance bands comes with extra light to extra heavy resistance, and it also comes with a door anchor, handles, and an ankle strap, so you can use the bands for a total body workout. When I'm working with a private yoga client and I notice an area of weakness that needs more than what we're just doing on the yoga mat, I can easily work with them on a band exercise that can help supplement their practice, which is a beautiful thing. And this is another reason why I love these bands. So if you're wanting to get back into some healthy routines in the new year, or you know someone who could benefit from these or needs their own exercise bands replaced, because I have found that most people have exercise bands at home. They do have a shelf life and they do wear out. And if they break when you're using them, it's not fun and it's not good and it's not safe and it could seriously injure you. So it's essential that even if you have bands at home, that you check them out, that you know how old they are, that you get rid of them before they get to that point that they are so worn out that they might injure you if you're using them. I just went off on a tangent there. I'm really sorry. So if you're in the market for bands or for exercise bands or want a way to begin incorporating a little bit of strength training back into your life or into your routine, exercise bands, hands down, a very good place to start and a very good thing to introduce back into your life. And if you are the type of person who already has a beautiful health routine, beautiful wellness routine that you follow, perhaps you would consider yourself a little bit of a health nut already, then these next things that I'm recommending actually might be for you or for someone who is like you, because I think anybody could benefit from taking super greens. And especially if you are in that place in life where you are a little bit further in your health journey. If you haven't introduced super greens into your life yet, perhaps now is the time. Or if you know someone who is a health nut and you know that they don't take super greens powder, maybe this is the time that you give them this as a Christmas gift. We have been taking greens in a powder form for quite some time. And honestly, I have seen the benefits in our overall health since beginning to take them. Power Greens powder support immunity, they boost energy, they offer probiotics, and they support your body in the way it processes stress, which is a beautiful thing because it supports it from the inside out and gives you the ability to be healthier on the inside so that your body can tolerate stressful situations even better. I take super greens every morning in my adrenal cocktail, and I can definitely tell a difference in digestion and ability to fight off illness. And there's a whole host of research out there on super greens. And of course, there are a lot of options for brands that you can purchase for super greens as well. But this Jocko brand is the brand that we choose to use because of the flavors and the price. It's kind of middle of the road price. And because my husband already has used this brand of supplements for years for other things. So he did all the work in figuring out that it was a trusted brand. But mostly he knows who Jocko Willink is. He has met him. He believes in his message and what he brings to the table. So that's kind of why he chose that brand. And that's why we use that brand, quite honestly. I have included links for a 2-pack option, which is a peach and a pineapple option or pineapple coconut option. And I've included links to the individual canisters. Now, we have this set up with Amazon to do a subscribe and save. So every month we get 2 canisters, and 2 canisters make it exactly for Matt and me both to be taking super greens every day. And right on schedule, Amazon delivers the next package when we need it. So it's kind of convenient, and it is just an investment in our health that we find essential right now, especially with having young kids at home, because they bring home so much stuff. And even if we do get something, I feel like our immune systems are just better able to fight it off more quickly than when we weren't taking super greens. Now, we also do other things like ice baths and breathing and intense breath work to help stave off illness. But super greens definitely plays a role in all of that. For what it's worth, if you have someone in your life who you love and who has maybe thought about taking greens before but hasn't, maybe this is the gift that you give them, or maybe you give it to yourself because you want to try taking them. And who knows? I'm not kidding. Sometimes they're deeply discounted on Amazon. So you might get a really good deal on them. Absolutely. Now, if you want to drink those greens from a water bottle, I have just the water bottle for that. I don't usually drink my greens from a water bottle because I do them in a mixer bottle. But there wouldn't be anything wrong with putting them in a water bottle, shaking it up, and there you go with your greens. And I have just the water bottle for you. The Simple Modern 32-ounce aluminum water bottle is the water bottle that I have and I carry with me everywhere. And it actually fits in my refrigerator water thing, which is perfect. My kids' don't. They have a 40-ounce water bottle, and it kind of drives all of us bonkers that they don't fit in the refrigerator water dispenser. But my water bottle does, and I absolutely love it. The other things that I love about this water bottle that I'm recommending are that it comes with both the straw option or the chug spout. So you get to choose. And depending on what I'm doing determines which one I use. When I'm driving in the car, I know I'm going to be driving in the car, I use the straw because I don't want to be tipping my water bottle while I'm also trying to focus on the road. So it's really very versatile. And another reason that I liked this water bottle when I was on the hunt for a new water bottle, because my glass ones broke, was because it doesn't have a big giant logo from some other company on it. So I found a color that I loved, and then I just had our local screen printing company put the brand or the logo for my business on it by engraving it on it. Then I could still fill my water bottle with all the stickers I wanted to match my personality, and voila, I've got a water bottle that has me written all over it. We have lots of colors, so you can pick one that helps you create the intention you want in life. And you might not know this about me, but I love to ride my bike. I have since I was a kid. It was my favorite thing to do, actually, when I was a kid. I definitely don't ride as much as I used to because, well, life with 3 kids. And even when we do all go out for a family ride, at the ages that my kids are at, we still have a tag along and a burly. So it's definitely a 2-adult ride if all the kids are coming. And this isn't always possible. Nonetheless, any chance I get, love to ride my bike. And one of the things that I now find essential to riding is my phone for safety. So I know how far I've gone, and for tunes. And I have a little bag on my bike that I've used in the past for my phone, or I'll use the pocket in my jersey. But I like to be able to see the screen more easily than stopping and taking it out of the carrying bag or out of my cycling jersey. So I finally broke down this past year and invested in a handlebar phone holder. And I say invested because, of course, I overthink purchases and I want to make sure that I am getting just the right one for me. So it's a process. And sometimes I find it hard to purchase things that aren't absolutely essential, that just add to the fun or convenience of something, because I think that my money could be spent in other ways that are more essential. And yes, I realize that this is something that I am working through on a spiritual level as well, but that's just how I am. But this little device makes writing with my phone so much more convenient. So I want to pass it on to you because it would make a good gift idea for someone who is maybe like me and doesn't often treat themselves to the things that are just nice to have and not essential. Actually, my husband purchased this phone holder first because his brother had this phone holder and he really liked it. So I can have my husband's brother to thank for taking all of the decision-making work out of it for me. And I actually can thank my sister as well because I used a bike holder on her daughter's bike and I didn't like that one. So I knew which one I kind of wanted to go with. Nonetheless, if a bike phone mount for your handlebars is something that might interest the cyclist in your life, then check out the link for the one that I recommend. And finally, and this kind of goes along with the biking thing, but when I'm doing just about anything active, I've got at least one earbud in, listening to something, whether it's music or a podcast or a book in my head. But the problem with having earbuds for me is that I have real small ears and regular earbuds never seem to stay in my ears. And I know this is like a super silly problem, and you probably don't have this problem because I rarely meet someone who has small ears like me, but I just cannot wear regular earbuds. They absolutely do not stay in. Even if I'm just sitting at my desk, they don't stay in. I have small ears. So once I find earbuds or headphones that I know will work for me, I have to stick with them. So I'm going to share with you the earbuds that I actually use. I use the JLab Sport earbuds because they have an ear hook on them and they stay in my ears. They have pretty good sound quality. And although I'm not super impressed with the microphone when talking on the phone, their capability to let me listen to whatever device I'm wanting to listen to is great. And you can control the volume from the headphone itself, as well as turn noise canceling on, and they even have a be aware setting. So when you are wearing both and you still want to be able to hear what's going on around you for safety issues, especially if you're out running or biking and you need to hear the things that are going on around you, then they have that option. I usually just wear one earbud when that's the case, but it's available and it's a pretty cool feature. They also have a long battery life and they're sweat proof. I have noticed that because the volume is adjusted by touching the ear hook and the play stop function is also adjusted by touching the earbud, that on an occasional windy day, if my hair is not all contained, it has changed the volume or started or stopped whatever I was listening to just by my hair touching it. So they're pretty sensitive. But overall, I've had these headphones for a few years and they definitely make listening on the go much more enjoyable and help me enjoy doing those things that I do for health even more. Okay, let's get into the gifts that now communicate harmony in your life. You know, we're all about self-work around here, and I want to share something that may not necessarily be considered a gift, but something fun to do during the holidays to understand yourself a little bit more. I know the holidays get hectic and you can easily find yourself trying to please other people and do it all. Wait, you might always find yourself doing this. So maybe it's just magnified around the holidays instead of paying attention to what's really most important and essential. That being said, it's still fun to do the things that aren't essential while also remembering the why behind it. Like I just said, sometimes I have a hard time buying things that aren't essential, that are just for fun or just nice to have. Same thing with doing things for yourself. Now, I will say that I am much better in my life about doing the things for myself that are just nice to do or fun to do. So I know that progress is being made in my life. That being said, I know that taking the time to do things just for fun or just because they're nice to do can be a little bit tricky, depending on what your do-it-all inner power animal is. Yep, I said do-it-all inner power animal. If you are a do-it-all person, you need all the more reason to remember to do things just for fun. And this is a fantastic way to do just that. Instead of scrolling when you need a break in your day, take 5 minutes and take the do-it-all inner power animal quiz that my coach Deb Blum created. My animal is the elephant, which actually doesn't surprise me considering elephants are my second favorite animal behind turtles. And if I'm honest, it might actually be a tie between those two animals. And it doesn't surprise me because of what the elephant stands for, according to Deb. The elephant is a beacon of reliability and integrity, inspiring others through your commitment and dedication. And the affirmation that she pairs with the elephant goes like this: I release the need for rules and external expectations and trust in my own wisdom. Totally spot on. I am the rule follower, and to my fault, actually. So definitely the elephant describes me. That affirmation is definitely something that I need to remind myself of daily, especially during the holidays. There's a whole lot more information that you get when you find out what your inner power animal is and how to go about using the qualities of it for your benefit instead of focusing on the challenges you have. And she even includes a list of TV or movie characters that are the same inner power animal as you. So it really could help you get through the holidays because you might just understand yourself a little bit more and then give yourself a little bit of grace. There are 5 other do-it-all inner power animals, and I'd love to hear what yours is. Share it in the comments of the show notes if you do end up taking the quiz. It's just a fun thing to do. And after you find out what do-it-all inner power animal you are, you might have found out that rest or really embracing downtime is not your forte. So I've got something that can help you with that. This is another perfect gift to give yourself for the holiday season. My friend Melissa Weinman is hosting a free winter recharge, a virtual pampering week for moms during the holidays. Take some time for yourself and indulge in relaxation and self-care. All the winter recharge content drops on December 26th and runs until December 30th. You don't have to show up at a specific time. It's available for free for the entire week. So when you do have time to enjoy it, you can enjoy it at your leisure. I know that week of Christmas can be busy with kids home and visiting relatives. So what better time than to plan restorative time in for yourself? If you sign up for the winter recharge, then you already know you have something that you can turn to help give you that space for replenishing yourself so that you can pour into others and fully be present and enjoy the people that you are around during the holidays. It's a time when you can close yourself in your room and maybe watch and take part in some pampering for yourself. There will be a variety of presenters, and I'm actually going to be leading a session on finding calm in the chaos. Each session is pre-recorded, so you can watch or listen whenever you have a little downtime. I'd love to have you take part. It's a beautiful free gift that you can give yourself to recharge your batteries and start the year off as your best. Speaking of the holidays, do you want to be able to flow through the holidays instead of just endure them? To be able to find calm in the chaos that is inevitable when the kids are out of school and schedules, even if you don't have kids, are just not the same? And do you want to do all of that, but don't have a ton of time to dedicate to whatever is going to get you to that place of flow? I thought so. Here's another gift for yourself. I teach a weekly 30-minute breathing class that can help you slow down, tune into your inner guidance and what you're really needing, and use your breath to get there. And the best part, each class is recorded, so if you can't make it in person, you can listen whenever you have the time. Although if you can make it in person, all the better, because you are taking ownership of your actions and creating space for change to actually happen on your calendar. It happens on Wednesdays, and you can find all the details on my website or in the link in the show notes. The next thing on the list that speaks to harmony and flow in your life is a set of hiking cards. I've been eyeing these cards for quite some time. And if you recall, last year, I told you about the Native Spirit card deck that I like to play around with and often take hiking. Well, a fellow yoga teacher and nature lover and amazing life guide, who I believe also has some training in forest bathing and also has a yoga studio in small town Iowa, created this beautiful deck of cards to take with you on hikes. Michelle Wilson with Radiant Wellness Solutions created these cards, and they are designed to give inspiration to you before or during a walk or hike and guide you deeper into your experience through connection and mindfulness. These would make a great stocking stuffer or gift for the person in your life who loves to spend time in nature and maybe even loves to hike. They come in a beautiful little bag and box and are about the size of a deck of cards, so they'll easily fit into your hiking bag. Listen on for the hiking bag that I actually recommend. Now that we've talked the fun, it's time to talk a little bit more structure. I want to share with you my favorite place to get my planner for the year because, as you know, friends, the new year is coming right up. So if you haven't thought about purchasing a planner, don't wait until after the new year. Sometimes I have done this, and honestly, it works much better if you buy your planner before January 1st. But now is probably the time to get out there and purchase it because the company that I typically buy my planner through always has some good deals for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And that company, which I love, 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 is called Plum Paper. They have customizable planners. You'll pay a little bit more than the planner you pick up from the box store. But if you're like me and like to have your planner look and feel how you truly will use it to its maximum, then it's totally worth it. I customize mine to align with my flow process for productivity throughout the week and day. So I can start the day setting intention and prioritizing my top 3. Then I schedule out what I want my day to look like and end with the gratitude or reflecting on my blessings. I went back to a paper planner a couple years ago and still also use my Google Calendar, but I find that my brain remembers things better when I write it down. And science backs this as well, by the way. And it gives me a spot to write down my to-dos and my God's to-dos for me. I like the way that I can see my week laid out on a paper planner versus my phone or desktop. And I've ordered from this company for years, and they only continue to evolve and get better and better and better and add more options and functionality so that you can make your planner as adaptable and you as you want it to be. I customize everything from the outside cover to the way the pages are set up inside. And when I'm disciplined to use it, it works great. But I know all too well the struggle with discipline is real. Yes, even for me. And it's when I'm not maximizing the use of my planner that life also feels more chaotic around me. So I know that using a planner is essential for me, and being able to write things down and get them out of my brain, you've heard me say this before, is the way also that I can feel clearer and feel calmer and less chaotic about life. This company truly allows you to create a planner that brings you joy and productivity each time you use it. So check it out. It's called Plum Paper. Plumpaper.com is their website. And honestly, you probably want to block out a little bit of time in your calendar to actually build your planner or decide the structure that you want. But it's so worth it, friends. I'm not even kidding. It's so worth it. I fill my planner every year. And this is the company that I have found. And I've used lots of other companies, but this is the company, because you can customize your planner, that I absolutely love. Check it out. All right. If electronic planners are more your style, then the next thing on my list might be the thing for you. Now, I use a Google Calendar. We use Google Calendar for everybody in our family. We keep our ducks in a row as far as scheduling for our family. But you need a device to have that Google Calendar on. And that could be your phone or it could be a computer. And I want to tell you that I've had a Surface Pro for a computer for many years. and it finally started to die out. It was a Surface Pro 4, okay? And last year it finally started to die. But because I loved it so much, I didn't even have to question what kind of computer I was going to get next. I now have a Surface Pro 7, which wasn't the newest model when I bought it last year, but it was an upgrade and it was in my price range. And it can do all the things I need it to do, including producing this podcast. And I know that it has a ton more functionality than I even know how to use, but I do love it. It makes getting my work done seamless and does connect to my phone as well, so I can access documents and apps on both devices on one screen. Now, you Apple people out there, I know this is like old school for you. You know that all your Apple devices connect. It's not as easy necessarily for Android users. So I will say that the Surface Pro does a nice job of allowing that functionality to connect the phone with the computer. So if you're in need of a new computer or device for Christmas, or someone you know is, this is a great option, and it's reasonably priced and is portable as well. It's light, it can go anywhere, and there are some great case options out there for carrying it around and for keeping it safe if you are going to move it around a little bit more. Now, to round out this section on harmony, I've got some books to share with you. The first one I sped through reading this past year because it is a short little read, but it's filled with so much goodness. And I probably, as I was writing this, was thinking, I'm going to just read this again quickly at some point in the near future because it is very good. It's Don Miguel Ruiz's book called The Four Agreements. In this, he unpacks his thoughts on the source of self-limiting beliefs as well as a beautiful code of conduct to end the suffering that we place on ourselves so that we can indeed live with more health, harmony, and happiness in life. These are 4 simple things that we all can begin to become more aware of and create little shifts in the way that we perceive and approach life. It's a beautiful reminder that we are all connected and just honestly a good code of conduct for living by. It makes a beautiful gift for yourself or others, and it's literally a little book, so it could easily fit in a stocking. I know that I got this book from my husband last year. It had been on my wish list, and he purchased it for me last year, and I'm so grateful that he did because I wasn't expecting it. It was just one of those books that was on my list that I was like, yeah, someday I want to read that book. But my husband is really good at crafting thoughtful gifts, and he had put together, curated this beautiful gift package for me, and it had this book in it. So it's another thing that maybe could be combined with something else. I know he had given me some bath salts. I think, oh, that's another thing that I could have put on here. He found a great company that has these amazing bath salts. And I think paired that with this, and it was just the most beautiful gift communicating the importance of self-care and rest. And it's amazing. It's like he kind of knows me, or maybe like he's lived with me for a while and understands me and understands where I'm coming from. So I'm very fortunate to have him in my life, and that he gave this book to me because it is a beautiful book, and I recommend it to anybody to read. It's short, it's quick. Check it out. And the last book is another book that I received as a gift, and I absolutely love it. If you have someone in your life who appreciates the Bible and spends time with God, this is a beautiful version to tune into. This is not the whole Bible. It's just the New Testament, but it is the First Nations version of the New Testament. And oh my gosh, you guys, it is like listening to a native story around a campfire, and it makes some of the stories in the New Testament so much more understandable. Even though the New Testament is a lot easier to understand than the Old Testament, but this version of the New Testament is absolutely beautiful and so easy to understand. I've been telling everybody about it. One of my friends who lives in a different state just sent me a message one day and said, hey, do you have this First Nations version of the New Testament? And I said, no. And she said, I'm sending it to you because I think you would absolutely love it. And if you know me, and you know how much I love those Native spirit cards, the Native American culture just resonates with me. And so this is a beautiful, beautiful version of the New Testament. And even if you're not a Bible reader, it's written in a way that is just sounds like stories about different tribal leaders. And it's beautiful. I can't say enough good things about it. I highly recommend it. That rounds out our harmony section of the podcast. And we're still going strong. So we've got happiness. And I'm going to tell you that in this happiness section, some of these things are amazing and they are so fun. So I'm super pumped to tell you about them because, oh my goodness, I'm going to tell you about some toys in a little bit. And then just other things that just bring joy to my life, bring happiness and help me just remember how possible it is to be content in wherever you are in life, whatever season you're in. So the first one is the Patagonia Sling bag. This is my favorite bag for everything, you guys. I don't carry a purse anymore. I used to, and I used to have, boatloads of purses. I loved them. I loved to, change them out all the time. And somewhere along the road, it was after I had kids, I decided this is not for me. I don't want to be that person anymore that has all the purses. So I don't carry a purse. I usually just carry my phone because I use a case that keeps my most used cards inside of it. I'm going to link to that as well. But when I do need a bag, like for traveling or hiking or day trips with the kids, this is my go-to. I have other crossbody sling bags and they just don't compare to this Patagonia bag. It's a crossbody bag that's not too big and it's not too small. And I received it as a gift. And it's honestly one of the best gifts I've ever received. My sister is usually pretty fantastic at shopping. In fact, she would tell you, if she weren't a pharmacist, she'd probably like to be a personal shopper because she's amazing at it. She really is. And I'm not to say this. I mean, like anybody can say they like shopping, right? But I don't know. She's good. Hands down, she's good. So I can thank her for introducing me to this bag because she had one and I saw it and I'm like, I really like that bag. And then sure enough, my next birthday, voila, I received one. I like it because I can clip my water bottle to the back of it or onto it. So when it's on my back, then it's got clips across it. And so I can clip that water bottle that I already told you about on the back of it. I can also clip a hat to it. So it's functional in that regard. And it fits everything else that I might need. Those spirit cards I talked about, now my Hike Like a Yogi cards, it can fit sunscreen, a journal, or a book, and some snacks. It's got a small outer pocket and a divider inside of it to keep things separate, and a key or a chapstick pocket on the front strap. And it comes in a variety of colors, and it would make any adventurist in your life happy. I'm sure of it. It is a very nice gift, and it would be a very generous gift to give someone. But it's amazing. It's amazing. And it goes right along with some of the other gifts that I've told you about today. All right, friends. Now, the next thing, when you can't get out and hike as much as you'd like to or get the natural sunlight because you live in the Midwest or in the northern states, basically anything above Atlanta, Georgia, you might need a little extra help getting the necessary rays of light that you need to feed the mitochondria in your cells for energy. So you might need this next item, which is the Verilux Happy Light Lux. I got this as a gift again. Last year I got it as a gift, and last winter was the first winter that I used this. And I've noticed an incredible difference in my mood, in my energy, just by starting to use it. I use it 15 to 20 minutes a day in the morning, and I think it really does help. Light therapy has been shown to help with seasonal affective disorder by regulating your melatonin and serotonin levels, which can also boost mood and alleviate symptoms of depression associated with the change in seasons. Light therapy also helps regulate your circadian rhythms when they're thrown off from either early morning waking or staying up late at night. And it might help with insomnia and non-seasonal depression. But for me, I noticed that I had more energy during the day, and it helped me wake up in the morning a whole lot faster, and it boosted my mood for the most part during the winter months when there is less light. Hands down, one of the best things I started doing to contribute to my happiness in the colder months. And if seasonal affective disorder affects you, or you start to feel a little bit more blue during the winter months and you just feel down, then this might be something to check out. And maybe this is something that you either give as a gift or you just buy for yourself, because it is truly, truly beneficial. I mean, I notice a difference in the days that I don't use it versus the days that I do use it. So it's definitely worth checking out. But I like this particular model because it has a timer on it, so I can turn it on. I can adjust the light on it. There are different levels of the brightness of the light and different hues. So it can either be a cooler or a warmer light, and then you can set a timer on it. So it's very handy because while I'm doing my morning journaling or devotion time, turn it on and I sit there and I do my thing, and it turns off when it's done. And it's absolutely a blessing. So very much the happy light, the Verilux happy light is something that you might consider. Now, I mentioned that I don't use a purse, and I usually just have my phone and the case that's on it. And the case that I have also carries my cards. I've had a case like this for my phone for quite a few years because I've stopped carrying a purse. And this one's nice and slim. The case that I'm linking to, I don't even know the brand, but it's for a Samsung S22, and it's a case with card holder. I can't pronounce the brand, so I'm not even going to try, but it's one that I found on Amazon, and I really, really do like it. I think it's great. It holds 2 regular thickness cards with 1 smaller card. So I hold my debit card, my license, and my library card because it's a little bit thinner. It comes in quite a few really beautiful colors, so there are lots of options. I don't have an iPhone option because I'm an Android user, but I'm sure there are options out there that resemble this that you could get. This would be a great stocking stuffer. It's inexpensive, super inexpensive. And for me, the simplicity of not having to carry much with me makes life just feel lighter, makes me happier to not have to carry all the burdens or all the stuff around with me. It opens me up and opens my energy up. So the phone case, totally a good thing that brings happiness to my life. Now, the next thing is something similar to the headphones that I already told you about, but it's a bit different. We got a waterproof shower speaker for my husband for Father's Day, and this little thing is so fantastic. We mostly keep it in the shower, but we could easily bring it out on the kayak since it is waterproof and it's small. It's got decent sound actually for a little speaker, and it's easy to use. We used to bring one of our other speakers, like our Bose speaker, into the bathroom whenever we were showering or getting ready. And you have to turn the music up so loud when the speaker is not in the shower with you that I hated it because I wouldn't turn music on then because our daughter's room is on the other side of our bathroom. So I wouldn't turn music on then because I didn't ever want to wake her up if she was sleeping or disturb her. So having the speaker in the shower makes getting ready or even shower time so much more convenient to listen to. And you don't have to have the speaker blasting just to hear the music over the running water. And this is kind of one of those gifts that you don't always think about. But for the person who may be a little bit harder to buy for, but also likes to listen to things on their phone or on their device, this might be a really good option. It's relatively inexpensive. It could make a stocking stuffer or could just be a good dad gift for a dad or husband that you don't know what to get anything for because maybe they have everything or they just buy the things for themselves. So this little waterproof speaker has really good reviews and good reviews from us as well. We have no qualms with it. It seems to do the trick pretty well. Speaking of getting ready, for many years, my sister and I, yes, the one who is the shopping expert, called ourselves hairdryer snobs. We'd go back to visit our parents, and the hairdryer that was available for us to use was just crap. It wasn't powerful, and it took forever to dry our hair. And our hair would just be limp, and it was just not good. So we quickly realized that we had to bring our own hair dryer whenever we traveled home. And it's funny because we didn't have this conversation. And it might have been like when we were both in college, we would just naturally bring our own hair dryers. And then in one encounter in the bathroom when we're both drying our hair or both wanting to dry our hair or needing to, we were like, oh yeah, we have to bring our own because mom's hair dryer is so terrible here. And then we started to realize, oh, we're kind of hair dryer snobs. I don't remember what hairdryer we were using at that time in our lives when we discovered that, but it was a good one. So eventually those hairdryers from the first time we started realizing that we were hairdryer snobs died out. And my sister had a new hairdryer, and I still thought my hairdryer was pretty dang good and I loved it. But I can remember being at my mom and dad's, and we, at this point in our lives, we had started communicating like, oh, we're both going home. Are you bringing your hairdryer? Or am I bringing my hairdryer? She had said she was bringing her hairdryer. So I was like, all right, I'm going to leave mine at home. Used hers, and her hairdryer was amazing. Amazing. It was this RUSK weightless one. Actually, my sister's hairdresser, I think, recommended it to her. So I would just plan on her being home when I was home and use her hairdryer whenever she was home. Long story short, she ended up giving me one as a gift years ago. And finally, just finally, this year, we ended up giving my mom one. I don't know why it took us so long, so many years to get that woman a decent hairdryer, but we finally did. So I'm sorry about that, Mom. And I'm glad you finally have the amazing hairdryer that we love as well. But perhaps it was because she doesn't have as much hair as we do. Either way, we now have the RUSK weightless hairdryer, and it is the bomb diggity. Yes, I just said bomb diggity. It's the best hairdryer out there. Well, at least in my opinion. It's amazing. This hairdryer, the RUSK weightless hairdryer, is powerful and is definitely at the top of the list in the hairdryer world. So you're going to pay a little bit more for it, but it is so worth it. And you know what? It's less than $100. So here's the thing. It's less than $100. So it's not that expensive if you're thinking of hairdryer appliances and how often you buy those. You don't really buy hairdryers that often. At least you hope you don't. And if you have a good quality hairdryer, you're not going to have to buy a new hairdryer as often. So wimpy dryers just leave your hair flat and limp. And this dryer is so much the opposite. It would make any woman with hair happy. I'm telling you. So check it out. If you've got a woman who's hard to buy for in your life, maybe check this hairdryer out because it's amazing. And when you're done in the bathroom and you're ready to get dressed, you'll need socks this time of year if you're in the Midwest. And a few years back, I found these positive affirmation socks and gave them to quite a few people as Christmas gifts. If you've been around here at all, you probably know how much I love affirmations. So of course, these are right up my alley. These socks are called Notes to Self socks. They're great for the people in your life who you want to make sure they know just how special they are to you all the time, or maybe those people who geek out on positivity and or self-work, kind of like me. You can start your day being reminded of how awesome you are and end it by kicking up your feet at night and being reminded once again how amazing you are. This company, Notes to Self, has gift sets and socks geared towards specific professions. So it might be an ideal gift to give teachers or coaches, nurses, or first responders, or maybe your student. They have everything from infant and toddler socks to compression socks to athletic and ultra low cut socks. This is a 100% woman-owned business. And I believe they're actually located right here in the Midwest in Kansas. And the socks are also made in the US of A, which is so wonderful. And the company regularly donates to nonprofits, including women's and homeless shelters and children in need. So it is a very genuine and authentic company that is out there to actually spread positivity in this world. And it is beautiful. They have a great story. They're nice little notes to self to remind the wearer that they matter in this world. And that just brings happiness to whoever has them. Now, onto the really fun stuff. I told you we were going to be talking about fun stuff. Here it is, the games and toys. Okay, I am sharing only games and toys this year that both adults and kids would enjoy. Even if you're an adult, these games are ones that anyone of any age can enjoy for the most part. Our kids got a ninja line last year for Christmas, and it is seriously one of the best gifts. You do have to have 2 trees or 2 posts that you can tie this ninja line to, but they can do all the climbing, balancing, and swinging on it that they want. And honestly, it supports my weight even. I can even play on it with the kids. And I think my husband probably can too. It's just a matter of how it gets tied up and how high off the ground it is. But if you've got some kids in your life, this is a great option and it will get them outdoors. Or if you have a big enough basement, it could get them active this winter, even if you can tie it up inside in a basement somewhere. But it will get them out there and moving their bodies. And I honestly think that they even have a $10 off coupon going right now if you go out to purchase this. And my guess is they'll have sales for Black Friday and everything. The next thing that I want to tell you about is the Hasbro Bop It game. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love this game. This is a game that you can play solo or against someone else. And there are 5 or 6 commands the computer in the game makes you do. And the levers or knobs on the game that correspond with the commands, either bop it, spin it, twist it, flick it, or pull it. And as you go, the commands begin to speed up. So it's a game of not only muscle memory, but of also speed. Now, when I was growing up, some of my cousins had one of these, and we were constantly trying to beat the high score on it. We didn't have video games, but we did have this at their house. This was generally at their second home. And so there wasn't a whole lot of TV watching happening or video games being played, because the idea was to be there and relax and be on the water or doing things like that. But there are times when you have to have indoor games and indoor things to do too. And Bop It was the best game. It was so much fun. So for whatever reason, it came to mind last year before Christmas. And then I was on a mission to get my son one for his birthday, which is 3 days after Christmas, if they still made them. I didn't even know if they still made them, but for whatever reason, the Bop It tune came into my head. And then I was hooked, and I was on this mission, and I had no idea if they even still made them. Turns out after researching, they do still make them. And I started looking last year in November, and I saw that they existed and purchased it, but it said it didn't know when it was going to be available to ship. Luckily, one of my friends, who is also a teacher, had a couple Bop Its in her 5th grade classroom to use during indoor recess, and she gladly handed them over. Now I understand why she handed one over, because they are noisy little toys, but they are fun, and they can be taken in the car. They're easily transported. They can be played by anyone. But she gave it to us so that we could have a physical gift to give him for his birthday, because I didn't know when this new Bop It was going to be arriving. It turns out it didn't arrive till like February or March or something. But since we've had both of them, we have spent hours playing them. And they are just fun for everyone. And it appears that they are more readily available these days. And I don't think you'll have to wait 2 or 3 months to get them. But they are available. They're out there. It's called the Bop It Extreme. And it's a game of skill and speed and memory, and helps your brain develop those pathways that, as we age, sometimes are not as fluid. And so if you are aging, and even if you don't have kids at home, this could be a fun little game to sit around and play with your spouse or significant other. It's great. Now, another great toy for the family is the Perplexus Maze Ball. And I am specifically talking about the Rebel Maze Ball today. It's a maze ball game that you have to try to move this tiny silver ball through a series of mazes inside this clear plastic ball. And it's tricky, and everyone in our house has a fun time using this and playing this. And there are different levels to try and get that ball through or to. But there's a lot of different versions of the Perplexus maze balls. There's even a Rubik's Cube version that makes you have to twist the block and get the silver ball where it needs to go. We have this version as well, but I haven't even attempted it because it looks so tricky. And I haven't ever even mastered the Rebel maze ball, but it is possible because I'm sure Matt and Huck have mastered it. But I always seem to drop the ball in the same place. But it's a fun thing. The Rebel, from what I can determine, is one of the base versions that isn't as complicated as the others. So it's a good place to start. But these maze balls, we were introduced to years ago from one of our friends, and it is a beautiful gift idea. It's totally fun. So if you are interested and you want something, I've also included a link to the Spin Master Perplexus Fusion 3x3, which is like the Rubik's Cube version of this maze ball. It's more challenging. I haven't tried it, but I know that the original Perplexus maze balls are a great time and are fun for everybody in the family. So definitely promoting that happiness and the release of those good feeling hormones like dopamine. and oxytocin in your body. That rounds out the happiness section, which actually rounds out the entire episode. Friends, this has been a long episode, so thanks for staying with me. I gave you a wide range of ideas, so pass this episode and post on to others, and some you might just want to give to yourself or do yourself, like the Inner Power Animal quiz. That's just a fun little thing to find out about yourself. I hope this holiday season treats you well and that you're able to slow down and really be present for all that happens around you. One last thing before we go. Our family also likes to put an emphasis on experience gifts. And believe it or not, after hearing this list, because it's a lot of things on this list, a lot of what our extended family likes to do for us is experience gifts. In the past, we've also done an experience file for our kids. And this is a simple, easy thing that you could do for your family or for your kids. I purchased one of those little pocket type accordion files and label each tab with a month of the year. Then in each pocket, I put either a coupon or a gift certificate for some sort of experience or adventure for our family to go on. Some of the coupons are homemade that I've just printed off on cardstock. Some of them are actual coupons for local businesses or things that we are planning to go on. These don't have to be big things. They can be things like a trip to the ice cream shop with ice cream shop gift cards in it, or a trip to the rec center for swimming with rec center day passes, or even just a little coupon for a family bike ride that we then prioritize during that particular month. You're likely creative and can think of things that would resonate with your family, but it can be a great way to encourage not just the getting of stuff, but the connection and potential that comes with doing things together throughout the entire year. You can find all the links and images at KarenYogaWellness.com/podcast90. Remember that some, but not all of these things are affiliate links. So if you do choose to buy from them, thank you. And I do get a little bit of money love from that company. But please know that I am very discerning when it comes to sharing things that truly bring health, harmony, and happiness into our lives. So I only tell you about the things that I believe in and that do cultivate greater health, harmony, and happiness. So thank you for considering purchasing from these links if you do. You've been listening to Health, Harmony, and Happiness with Kathy. I'm Kathy Stricker. Cheers to cultivating your own version of health, harmony, and happiness in your life.